Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is a video of some prayer points for your prayers to fight against the enemy. It says, this is the opening prayer. With the power and authority of Yahshua the Messiah, I place myself in the presence of Yahweh. And then you would go into these prayer points. These prayer points are to help encourage your prayer. They're prayers against the enemy. The first prayer would be Psalms 2 verse 9. It says, break them with the rod of iron, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. So you would pray in your prayer, you would say, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel, dash my enemies to pieces like a potter's vessel, break them with the rod of iron. Then the next prayer point is Psalms 3:6. It says, I am not afraid of 10,000 of people who have set themselves against me all around. You have to have faith. This is where you have faith. And when you say this prayer, it's a prayer of faith that no matter what the amount of quantity of enemies, that your quality of prayer will defeat the enemy. The next prayer point is Psalm 6 verse 8. It says, depart from me, all you workers of wickedness. So in your prayer, you can pray like, depart from me, you devil, depart from me, you demons, depart from me, you workers of wickedness. That's somehow how the prayer will go. The next prayer point is Psalm 6 verse 10. It says, let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them be turned back into shame. And you can say this prayer repeated a few times. So it'll say it again. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them be turned back into shame. Let my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them be turned back into shame. You can pray like that. In Psalms, the next prayer point is Psalm 7:13. It says, Yahweh make your hot arrows ready at the enemy and pursue them. I'll read that again. This is just a way you could say it in your prayer. Yahweh, make your hot arrows ready at the enemy and pursue them. The next prayer point is Psalms 10 verse 8 through 9. It says, let the secret hiding place of the enemies be burnt by fire and lightning and brimstone. Let me read that again. Let the secret hiding places of the enemies be burnt by fire and lightning and brimstone. The next prayer point is Psalms 10:15. Break the arms of the evil ones. Short but simple prayer. Short and simple prayer, but it's very powerful. You could say, break the arms of the evil ones. Break the arms of the enemy. Break the arms of the witches that did witchcraft against me. Break the arms of the ones that did evil altars against me. You could pray that in your prayer. Psalms 11:16. And that prayer was break the arms of the enemy was Psalms 10:15. Psalms 11:6 is upon the enemies rain snares, fire, sulfur, and scorching wind. I'll read that again. Upon the enemies rain snares, fire, sulfur, and scorching wind. The next prayer point that I have is Psalms 18 verses 13 through 14. Hail and coals of fire, send out your hot arrows and scatter them, and lightning to confuse them. I'll read that again. Hail and coals of fire. Send out your hot arrows and scatter them, and lightning to confuse them. You can add that to your prayers to fight against the enemy. Psalms 18, verse 16 through 17, it says, Draw me, Yahweh, out of many waters. Deliver me from my strong enemy. That is a prayer of faith. If you don't know any prayers of faith to keep your faith going, that is a prayer of faith. Psalms 18, verses 37 through 39, it says, I declare and decree that I pursue my enemies and overtake them, and do not turn back till they are destroyed. I crush them, and they are unable to rise. They fall under my feet. Amen. Alleluia. That is like a declaration prayer, that prayer of faith, that you destroy your enemies, and that you conquer your enemy, and that you are the head and not the tail. So that was Psalms 18:37 through 39. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I hope this encouraged your prayer. There's prayers of faith that I gave you, and there are prayers of destroying the enemy. And these prayers are very effective if you add them to your prayers. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you in the next video.